So what I say to all the arcanists or the statists of this world is, I for one, and this is on slide number 110, willingly choose true freedom. I will willingly choose true freedom, even if it meant that roads may no longer exist in a post-slavery world. Oh, how would the roads be built? How would we maintain the roads? The roads! You hear people screaming about this. Why do you hate roads? Because you don't want to see government go. How would people ever possibly pave roads? Well, guess what? One, I don't care how people would pave the roads. They either would do it and figure out how to make it work, or roads wouldn't get paved and they'd fall into total disrepair. I'd personally rather be free and not be able to move on roads with a car than have a car and have active roads and be a slave. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird like that. That I don't think I should give up my freedom and accept slavery for there to be roads. I know that's a really extreme out there idea that I shouldn't accept slavery to have roads, but you know, I'm one of those crazy people, you know. The fear of the possibility of chaos is the fear of true freedom. I'll willingly choose freedom even if it meant that roads may no longer exist in a post-slavery world, even if it meant that murderers and cannibals might lurk around every corner, like the zombie apocalypse, even if it meant that I might drown in human waste because there would be no sanitation, even if it meant that my home might collapse because of unsafe building conditions, or that it might spontaneously erupt into flame at any given moment and no one would come to put out the fire. Moving on to the next slide. Yes, I would rather live my life in total danger and be truly free than to exist in so-called quote-unquote safety and be a slave. Maybe I'm just weird like that, but I think that safety is not nearly as important as freedom. I'd rather take my chances on being hurt and be truly free to make my own decisions than be a slave, than be a kept animal, a kept pet in a cage, okay? And be kept completely safe. I'm not interested in safety. I'm interested in freedom. Safety will come when people truly understand what freedom is anyway. You'll be truly safe when you understand natural law. That's what brings safety. Not anybody going out and policing the world telling me that you're protecting my freedom. You ain't doing jack shit protecting my freedom. How's that? You're actually making more chaos in the world through violence. And that can never generate freedom, because that's all based in fear, that's all based in ignorance, that's all based in confusion. And therefore can never create freedom. An ignoramus telling me you protect my freedom. Really, ignoramus. The only thing that protects freedom is adherence to natural law. That's why we're losing it, because there isn't any adherence to natural law in the world. We are abandoning the teachings of truth and natural law, and therefore collectively we're going into a prison, and we're already there collectively. So don't give me the nonsense and the bullshit that you protect people's freedom by going over and oppressing other people's rights and taking their natural resources as a paid henchman. No military individual has ever protected freedom. You want to protect freedom? You learn the truth. You learn about how natural law operates, and then you teach that to other people. That's how you're helping to protect and grow freedom. Let's move on to... Let's finish slide number 111. An understanding and acceptance of true freedom means letting go of the fear of the possibility of chaos. If you are still in fear of the possibility of chaos breaking out, then you do not understand or accept what true freedom is. You don't get it. Without that fear being let go of, you cannot know what freedom is. It's impossible. And if you think other people are fighting for our freedom by going off overseas, you're insane. You don't understand what freedom is. You don't get it at all, at all, at all, at all. You don't understand the expressions of natural law and how they generate freedom based upon our choices of the polarities that we work with. You don't get it. I can say that about you because I do know how that dynamic works, because it is not about what I believe. It is a law that exists in nature that is there to be discovered. I can tell you that you don't understand freedom if you fear the possibility of chaos, as surely as I can tell you if you walk off the edge of a cliff, you will fall down to the ground. Because that is governed by law. The movement, the expansion or contraction of freedom is governed by law. As long as people stubbornly cling to this fear of the possibility of chaos, they are ultimately enslaving themselves. Not only don't you understand true freedom, you don't understand how you're putting yourself into a cage through keeping that fear present and active inside of you. This is done because slavery is generated and perpetuated through fear. And again, go back to the natural law chart earlier in the presentation and study it. When you're working with the polarity of fear, it leads to the refusal of truth, which leads to ignorance. Then it leads to internal anarchy, which is confusion within. And it leads to external monarchy, which is control and enslavement, slavery. And that creates chaos and evil. Only when we stop being afraid, meaning getting out of that polarity of fear and getting into the polarity of love, acceptance of natural law, true understanding the truth, because our mind and our heart is open to it because we're not in fear anymore, which shuts down consciousness, can we ever even begin to imagine what it means to truly be free. You can't imagine what it means to truly be free if you are in fear. It's impossible. Only when we stop being afraid can we begin to imagine what true freedom is. So that's the end of that correction.